Hello, this is Nick Coons with the Red 7 Linux YouTube channel, and today I wanted to talk about whether or not you can save money by fixing it yourself, doing it yourself, installing it yourself, whatever it is. That seems to be kind of a common thing that I've seen with people. Maybe it's recent, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure, but it does seem to be, maybe I'm just noticing it a little bit more. But essentially, it kind of works like this. Someone, let's say, goes out and gets a new printer and unboxes it, sets it up, installs the software, or at least plans to. It says, you know what, I can take care of this myself. I don't need any technician around. It has instructions. The software just walks you through the whole process. It'll be fine. And in some cases, it is. I mean, it depends on how technically savvy you are. You really need to know how long is something going to take you to get it working right. And is it worth your time to spend doing that versus paying someone else to do the same thing? Now, this can be really distilled down to a mathematical calculation. And I'll give you an extreme example. I had a client call me a few months ago saying, Nick, I've spent 30 hours over the past week trying to get this printer working, and I can't get it to work right. Can you help me out? He was a little more frustrated than that, but essentially, I was thinking to myself, wow, you could have spent that 30 hours at a minimum wage job, and you would have made more money than it would have cost me to come out and fix it for you. So, I mean, what is your time? Is your time worth like $3 an hour? Is what it comes out to be. So, it's really not a good idea if it's going to take you 30 hours to install a printer. You know, and it can take someone who's qualified, who knows what they're doing, maybe an hour to install that same printer. That's, one of those things you want to go ahead and calculate and figure out. Now, of course, there's always the unknown. How long is it actually going to take? Do you have any way of knowing that? What's the process? That's one of those things where you've got an unknown. Is it going to take 1 hour or is it going to take 10 hours? Now, if it's going to take 1 hour to do something, and it's going to cost you $100 to pay someone to do it, then it might be worth your time to do that thing to save the $100. It might be worth $100 to spend your time doing that. That depends on what else you would do with that 1 hour if you'd rather do that other thing than have the $100. Depends on what kind of job you have. It depends on what your lifestyle is. So there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. But on the technical side, it also depends on not just doing it, but doing it right. Wireless networks come to mind. I've seen people set up so many wireless networks incorrectly because they'll work out of the box incorrectly. When you open up most wireless routers and you plug them in, they are by default unsecured, no password, completely unencrypted. Well, you can take it out of the box, plug it in, find the network with your laptops or your other machines that are wireless, and connect to them, and everything looks like it's working. But you're also broadcasting a wide open signal that anyone, including your neighbors, can get into and use, and in most cases, use benevolently and not do illegal things that will be traced back to you. But they'll still be using your connection, taking away your bandwidth, using some of what you're paying for, thereby not allowing you to use what you're paying for. Your internet might be going slow. Especially if you've got an open wireless network that's open for a long period of time, people start to realize that because these things get mapped out. When you have an open wireless network, people trade that information with other people about where there are places to go to jump on wireless networks. So you want to make sure that not only are you setting it up in a timely fashion, but you're setting it up correctly. And if you have any doubts about whether or not that can be done, then you want to look for someone to do that for you, because in the long run you're going to save quite a bit of money doing it. I actually just left a client's location a few minutes ago. She has a Dell that she purchased a couple of years ago. I went out there last week and narrowed it down to a hardware issue, something wrong with a hardware problem. So I took it back in the shop, ran some tests on it. We figured out what it was. We let her know what the cost was going to be to get that stuff taken care of, and she decided to dig back through her paperwork and found that she had an extended warranty. Well, that's great. So we took the computer back out to her, charged her a small fee for the courier service, and for a couple of other things we did out there for her. And so I get a call back from her yesterday saying, well, Dell was just here, they replaced a bunch of stuff, and all my data's gone. Well, luckily, while I was there last time, because I knew there might be an issue with the system, I backed up all of her data for her, and I still had that. So I was able to go back out there and put her data back onto her machine for her. Well, I get out there, And it turns out that even though they replaced 3 pieces of hardware, the exact same problem still exists. So now she's paid me for 2 trips. She still has the same issue she had before. Dell's going to have to come back out. Most likely are going to be wiping the system again, which means most likely I'm going to have to restore the data again. So, and on top of that, she spent 4 hours on the phone with Dell this morning. So you really, you really have to be careful about, what you're going to spend, how you're going to spend it, and how much of your own time you're going to dedicate to being a technician. Now the alternative, and I always like to bring it back to the perpetual PC because that always works out so well for us, is that if you get a PC from Red 7, one of our perpetual PCs, not only are you getting the computer, but you're getting all the service along with it. The whole thing is completely in our hands, and it is never your problem. If anything happens with the computer, it's covered. We're taking care of it. Whether it's your fault or our fault or warranty or non-warranty, whatever it is, that computer is covered. So she wouldn't be spending 4 hours on the phone with anyone. She would be paying multiple hundreds of dollars for several trips out there to try and restore data and try and work with someone else's computer that is faulty. So you have to know where you're wanting to spend your money, how much time you're wanting to spend being a technician, and whether or not it might be, even though a little bit more costly up front, less expensive in the long run to find someone who can do the job for you. And some clients are really good about that. I have some clients who never want to do a thing with their computer other than use it. When it comes to doing anything, that the system doesn't automate, like the antivirus updates are automated, but when it comes to doing manual scans or when it comes to doing upgrades of software or installing anything new, I have clients that will call me and set up a time where I go out there and their computers are always running perfectly. There's never issues with it. They never have to deal with anything. They never spend a long time on the phone. They don't suffer from downtime. This is especially important if you're a business, because the cost of having a technician come out once a month, once every few months, go through all your computers and make sure they're taking care of everything is much, much less expensive than any downtime. I mean, you could spend the money for a technician that you pay for a technician for a year could be what you lose if your computer was down for a single day if you're in business. So it's really important to make sure that everything's running properly, and to do that, you don't want to be a technician unless you are a technician, that's what you like doing. This isn't geared toward hobbyists at all. I was a hobbyist for a long time. A lot of people are hobbyists. They want to do things because they want to learn the process. They want to experience it, and they have no problem with the downtime. That's fine. What I'm going after are people who are doing something because they underestimate the technical abilities required to do it, and they think that by doing it themselves, they're going to save themselves a few bucks. And in most cases, that is not how it works out. So just want to put that information out there. That has been my experience. That's been the experience of a lot of other people that I've worked with. A lot of my clients will say, I'm never going to do this again. They just don't want to go through that process. I mean, once you've gone through it, you really don't want to do it again unless you're masochistic, unless you like self-inflicted pain, which is not most people. So anyway, hope to have more good tips and tricks for you on an ongoing basis. Don't forget to fan us on Facebook, Red 7 Linux, and also to subscribe to the YouTube video channel. And you can also check out GutsyGeeks.com, which is the podcasting series that my partner Michael, Katie, I, and Mr. Modem put together. We release information there regarding open source and Linux, and hope we'll see you again soon.